August 28th, and we are through NVIDIA earnings. We're going to go over those earnings. I'm going to give some shout outs. I'm going to tell you about TrendSpider. I'm going to tell you about Seeking Alpha Premium. I'm going to tell you about how financials hit an all-time high yesterday. I'm going to tell you the top chip stock. It's not NVIDIA, according to the Seeking Alpha Quant. I'm going to tell you all about earnings yesterday because we had a storage company. We had an AI software company. We had a cybersecurity company. And you had NVIDIA, all of them. And we'll go into those. Plus, at the end, I'm going to go over why you should rethink a cash position and then give you some homework. Just give you some homework for the weekend because tomorrow I'm going to be doing more of a September watch list. And it probably won't be live, but it'll be, there'll be portions of it that I'll put out there. But again, we'll go over everything. Now, I went live yesterday on Substack for the NVIDIA earnings and the horrible, I should probably put a damn thumbnail on there. Good God, I look stupid. And that's the only, by the way, I think that's the only way. I need to turn my phone at some point to see if it does landscape, but that's the only way it does that. And you'll see me go back and forth. Live on Substack has some issues, and it's because I'm not technology driven and not smart about it. So I could probably go on my computer. They tell me that it is what it is. Now, some of you comment on Spotify when you listen. And so I get, 6, 8, 10 comments per episode. A couple of ones that I wanted to address yesterday. First one, Zeke, is your newsletter and the 4-hour algorithm in the paid subscription on Seeking Alpha? You're mixing stuff up. Understand, there are 3 tools that I use. There is TrendSpider, okay? And the sale is going to end soon. You can try it this weekend for $7. How do you get it? Go over to Linktree. So if you're asking about any of my tools, go over to Linktree, press some links, go and explore, do some investigating. But the first one in my newsletter, it does not come with any of the tools that you see. None of them. So they're all separate tools. You got the newsletter. That is like the 4th, 5th link down. It says Daily Stock Pick Newsletter, Substack right there. That's this. Even though a lot of these say paid, they are free. The paid section is all paid. The education section is paid. Recent posts, they are mostly free. So there's nothing to sign up for there. It costs you nothing. TrendSpider, that's the first link on Linktree. It is what it is, and you can go and look at it. It's a charting program. This is TrendSpider. When you see me use a chart, it is TrendSpider. It's got strategies. That's where my 4-hour algorithm is. It's got scanners. We will go over what stocks and ETFs entered the 4-hour algorithm today. So maybe you can play them. What's happening now? This is unusual options actions. These are government buys. There's a lot of things going on there. Stock market cap. You can create a custom market indicator if you want. AI strategies. This creates your own predictive models. You've got Sidekick up here. You got your watch list and everything. And behind my head, you've got alerts. So that's TrendSpider. Then the other tool is Premium and Alpha Picks. It's the bundle. Okay? It's the bundle. I talked about it enough yesterday. So Zeke, that's your answer. Go and play around on Linktree. Literally, if you're watching this video, the link is down below. Second one, what changed my thesis on AMD? Because Riley says I didn't like it before. It's not that I didn't like it. It's that, and I'll go over this. It's that it's risk reward. NVIDIA's got the best chips on the market. So 5 to 10 years, NVIDIA, as of last year, the year before, NVIDIA was by far a better option with risk reward because they've got the absolute best. Now they've got the absolute best and they've got some headwinds where maybe they can't grow as fast as a smaller player. So I think AMD, I think Broadcom, I think there's some options out there for you. But as long as we're talking about TrendSpider, you've heard about me talk about this Sidekick stuff. You get 10 free messages per month as a subscriber. Anything additional, you're going to have to pay for. It is a powerful, powerful tool. Yesterday's newsletter included prompts that you can use, including, hey, how do I use TrendSpider? and it will guide you. But again, if you're going to get TrendSpider, get this top plan. It's got 52 trainings per year. But I wanted to make sure everybody knew it is out there. So yesterday's podcast got a bunch of, is this just an ad? Do I just run ads all the time? Well, yes. But I get tons of questions from everybody who signs up for these tools. And they ask me, how do I use them? What you see on this screen, what you hear on this podcast is how I manage my portfolio. If you're not subscribed to these services, like the Seeking Alpha bundle, like Alpha Picks, like Seeking Alpha just by itself, I've told you, go and get the free 7-day trial on Seeking Alpha Premium by itself, and go and get the top 2025 and top 2025 second half stuff. Just use the 7-day trial for that. If you're not, I don't know why anybody wouldn't do that. Just realize everything you see on here is the way I manage my portfolio for over 40 years. I didn't have these tools for 40 years. This is what I'm doing now. You don't care what I did. In 1985, when I had to trade a stock, I had to call a broker. Do you want to hear about that? No. You want to hear about what I'm doing today to move forward. This is what I'm doing. And I started using charts heavily in 2020. And that's when I found TrendSpider. Want to know why? Because I lost 40% of my portfolio the month after I left work. I left work January 31st, 2020. I lost 40% of my portfolio. I said, you know what? I don't ever want to go through that crap again. I developed the 4-hour algorithm. And it worked. It has more than doubled my portfolio since then. Even what proved it to me was this 2022 downturn. If we go and look at a weekly on QQQ, that downturn that you see right there, I outpaced the S&P. Okay, I still lost money, but I lost less. And that's where it comes in. Don't think of this as, oh my God, I've just got to make money. It helps me manage it so I lose less. And that's the benefit of TrendSpider. All you care about is the price. So if you're not using charts to look at this stuff, you are missing out. I had 3 affiliate programs and 2 paid sponsorships reach out to me just yesterday alone. You won't see any of those programs. You won't see any of those sponsorships because I have transparency to you. My sales pitch to you is that I use these things. That's it. So now looking forward, why do I push Alpha Picks? The reason is it's very simple. I've been pushing it now because the history of rate cuts indicates that small cap stocks will outperform. And that's mostly what the Alpha Picks portfolio is. I'm a large cap tech investor. I may underperform and pick bad stocks. But you know, a good portion of my portfolio, I have heavy 6 figures into this Alpha Picks portfolio. So I want to balance my large cap tech, which may underperform. And we've seen Apple underperform. But in my mind, this Alpha Picks portfolio will outperform. And so why don't I take my entire portfolio and put it into Alpha Picks if I'm so sure of that? Risk reward. But do I think people should absolutely have Alpha Picks? Yes. It's not a sales pitch. I've got my dad's portfolio in Alpha Picks. I've got 3 friends in Alpha Picks. So it's not like I'm on here just selling. This is where I think you should go. Tomorrow, I'm not going to do a podcast for everybody. I am going to do a podcast for the paid subscribers. And the reason is I'm going to put out a September watch list. Am I going to beat, Alpha Picks in a month? Maybe, maybe not. But again, I get a ton of texts from friends and they ask me, and one of my friends actually works. This was a post that I put in the newsletter. I said, hey, my friend works at VSAT. It's a space company. VSAT actually turned into the #1 quant stock of a small cap It's up 81% in 1 month. By the way, that was when it was trading 27 on August 14th. Today, VSAT is trading 25% higher. Let's look. VSAT, there it is. It was up 5% yesterday. I got a text from my friend. Hey, did you buy it? No. Dumbass me didn't buy it. It's up 25% since then. Wall Street thinks that it's worth, let's see. Oh, come on, price target. Thinks that it's worth $24, 25% downside. I think we're in a bubble. I think we're in a bubbles. Financials yesterday, XLF hit an all-time high. Okay? I don't own XLF. I like underneath, I like Citigroup. Why? Because Citigroup, when you do your research, Citigroup has a book value that is actually under where it's trading. Its book value is 106. It's trading at 96. I was screaming about this one at 59. Is it something that I used a paid tool for? No. But you've doubled your money almost since then. And that was just April. So the paid tools, they'll help you. They won't guarantee you money. But you want to know what I own? I own Bank of America. I said Bank of America is a $50 stock. And I've been saying that for a long time. Years I've been saying it's a $50 stock. When it hit $50 back here in January 2022. So during this entire time, I've been buying. Wells Fargo, I own. Okay? I've owned this one for quite a while. I said it was a $40 stock when it was down here trading in the 30s. Then all of a sudden I said, you know what? February 2022, let's look at 60s. Boom. It provided support. It's now at 82. I own a lot of this. And my most recent buy, I had none of this until April. And in April, I bought 6 figures of Goldman Sachs. Okay, I was very transparent about this. I went in and I said I bought, I think there were 4 stocks where they pulled back a bunch and I didn't ask questions. I just bought. Financials, they could be going for another run. I like them. Now let's talk about some other stocks. Google streamlined its small team management. They laid off 35% of their managers with fewer direct reports than at this time of year. Google is showing you AI is reducing their workforce. This ties into Tom Lee on a podcast this past weekend on the Compound said he believes JP Morgan, which has currently 200,000 employees, could tokenize and run with 5,000 employees. That's a big effing deal. Stop. Sorry. That's a big effing deal because JP Morgan running with 5,000 employees means that they have tremendous cost savings. And you know what? We'll just go over here. What's the top chip stock right now with this quant rating? It's based on 0 to 5. Micron has a 4.98. Okay. Now let's use the tools to look at this because the valuation looks good. The growth looks good. The profitability looks good. The momentum, which is all you really care about. How has the stock done? The momentum is all you care about. 3 months, it's up 22%. 6 months, it's up 28%. 9 months, 19. 1 year, it's up 20%. It's all you care about. It's been a strong buy in the quant since it was 112. Is that a great move because it's only at 117? No. But yesterday, one analyst, CSLA, raised the price target to $155. What does Wall Street think that this one's worth? Well, let's take a look. Again, it's Seeking Alpha Premium. I just pull it up. The price target is 149, almost 30% higher. So let's go use our other tool, which is TrendSpider. And let's look. And when I look at this, I can see a previous all-time high right here back in April of 2024, provided a little support here in July as it pulled back last year. And we've seen it bump up there June 25th. We've seen it bump up there August 12th. And now we're seeing it potentially moving back up there. Again, NVIDIA earnings were good. NVIDIA uses Micron. Everybody seems to use Micron. The issue I have with Micron is nothing more than their profitability. And I shine a light on this one, that there's risk with reward. The risk is they gross profit margin 37%. The sector's charging 49%. To me, that means they don't have a lot of pricing power, but their EBITDA margin is fantastic. So you can analyze it with AI. This is like having an analyst in your pocket. Go and analyze Micron. Again, it is the top quant for chip stocks. And so do I love it? It is okay. 4-hour algorithm trades, better. It trades better than the buy and hold for the last 2 years. You make 128%. See those back testing results? That's why I got TrendSpider. I wanted a better way to understand, should I trade this? Should I hold this? Well, if I've got a strategy that actually beats buy and hold for the last 2 years, I better have a pretty strong thesis on that business to buy and hold versus actually use the 4-hour algorithm. 4-hour algorithm wins 50% of the time. It has you out. Just got you out with a great 8% gain. Can I tell you it's going back to 130? Well, it's rejected it twice so far. So we've got to have a good market for Micron to go up. So let's look at some seasonality. Let's go back a few years. Let's go back to 1996, 30 years. September, October, November, December, they seem to get better. But September's mean average was minus 1.73. So even though you win 45% of the time over 50 years, you're still losing money in September. That's how you do this. It's just a matter of risk reward, and you have to understand what you're doing with that. And does it guarantee if you do the work that you're going to make money? No, the market is a living, breathing thing. It will react how it reacts. And I'll tell you, one of the best people, if you want to trade options, is Ed Corona, the options oracle. This isn't behind a paywall. He is telling you how he's managing his trades. And the full breakdown. He just took Google, 80% gain. Goldman Sachs, 55% gain. Uber, 50% gain. Dutch Brothers, 72% gain. Again, he takes you through everything. So go to his Substack and subscribe to it. He is fantastic. He gives me FOMO and makes me want to do options. Honest to God. I'm not going to do it because I know my lane. Risk, reward. But Ed doesn't, he buys and holds every now and then, but he is a fantastic options manager. Now let's talk about earnings yesterday, because we'll talk about NVIDIA at the end, but Pure Storage was one of the big winners, 15% up. What is this? A storage company. What do you need for AI? You need to store things. When you go to an AI client, you don't want to start from scratch. You want your shit saved. And so this is Pure Storage. And they've shown growth now, PSTG. Let's look at it. Does it have possibility for going up? Well, let's look at the long term. Okay. VWAP, this is all old notes. MACD crossed up. This isn't from today. RSI coming off oversold. Again, look at that move. This is from here where it was trading at $38. You're at $60. Those are notes that I had on this chart. A positive 200 to 50. Moving positive, you have a double at 71. If I were to just put a straight line from June 2024 and put it there at $70, that's where I would assume that it's trading. FYI, that's where it's trading now. So, charts have a memory. They know where they go. Now let's look at the 4 hour. Does the 4 hour have you in? It had you in at 59 right before earnings. Did it know earnings were going to be good? No. Was I buying this one? No. I have a separate storage play. I have a preferred one that was on a list of if it pulls back 5%, I will buy it with no questions asked. It was found through Perplexity. And I put it out there to paid subscribers about a month ago. And I'm still holding it. This earnings justifies my pick. Storage is a big effing deal. Now let's talk about software, because I wasn't sure if Snowflake, and I put this in the newsletter, I wasn't sure if 200 was the new 150. Snowflake killed it. Killed it. Absolutely killed it. Okay? And we can go and look at the chart. Snowflake for me is not one that I want to buy. And I'll go over why I don't want to buy it. But ironically, look at where it's trading to, 234. That's a February 2024 high. I liked trading this for years. This goes back to 2022. I was buying it in this bottom sector and selling it at the top sector. It wasn't a timing thing. The 4 hour algorithm, even though over the past 2 years, it doubles buy and hold, I just wanted to do it this way. That was a strategy that I found. And then you look at this and it's trading up at 230 today. If you just look and we go to a 5-minute chart and we go here and we look at where after hours it was yesterday. Well, it gets almost up to that 234. That's your risk reward. Until you can get through this 234, that's your resistance. Is the risk worth the reward? No. But when I say, this line right here, this white line in the center, that's 156. It's around 150. 200 right here. Okay. See how it used 200 and it bounced up and now we're almost at 230 in the after hours. You don't have a new candle here. This candle will move up. And your 50-day is about to have a golden cross on the 200. Is Snowflake worth it? Well, I'd tell you that you needed to buy it here at 200, where the 4 hour algorithm got you. And it wasn't worth the risk reward for me. Want to know why? Because Snowflake trades at a crazy, crazy valuation, 179 times forward earnings. Again, I think 200 is the new 150, but expect it to pull back to 200 if it hits that 230 on the chart. Okay, I like Snowflake. They raised their guidance, product revenue guidance to 4.3. AI adoption accelerates. So it's clear in the software world, we're seeing winners and losers because it's not like Salesforce is flying. And then you had CrowdStrike yesterday, okay? CrowdStrike's an interesting one. I was live on that NVIDIA earnings when CrowdStrike came out. My look of confusion was what everybody, I said, this makes no sense. CrowdStrike under $400 makes no sense. It was under $400. And I said to the audience, I said, you should buy this under 400. Popped back up to 406. Would have been a great buy. You don't have confirmation right now. This one popped back up to 420 right after that. Again, this one shut down the world. When you look at the 4 hour algorithm, it got you in here at 439. It wins 55% of the time. I would guess that you're going to come back up to that 436. Where's that 436 from? I guess it's on a 4 hour. Let's look back. That 436, you can clearly see here that boom, we got up there, pulled back. Pulled back right there, and it provided some support, hasn't provided support. So this actual number needs to move down a little bit. Maybe it's closer to 400. So do I think this one should be bought? I mean, I have no idea why it pulled back so much, but it was the guidance on the potential lagging of revenue. In my opinion, this is an overreaction. If I need to remind you again, We are just nearly 1 year out from when this company shut down the world. Is it expensive? Absolutely. We talked about Snowflake trading at 140 something. This is trading at 119 times forward earnings, but its growth is fantastic. Now, the other one that I own in cybersecurity is PanW, and I think risk reward, this one could get to 200 before you see CrowdStrike get back to 500. But this valuation is a little crazy as well, 49 times forward earnings with growth of only 14%. I own both. Again, risk reward. I like both companies and I'm holding those for long term, but you've got to know your risk reward. And let's talk about risk reward because NVIDIA, it's already back to where it was trading yesterday. You had a 3% drop yesterday. This will go higher. That was simply profit taking. It was a phenomenal quarter. Okay? I bet this one starts to get $200 price targets now on Wall Street. It was all about China. Can they sell in China? Yes. Jensen said the market will grow by 50% next year. And that's not even, in the forecast. He also said Blackwell can go to other markets. It's spiking. Okay? It's spiking. This is just a great quarter. Yes, the $4 trillion the market cap worries me. Wall Street says it's a strong buy. Their price target right now is 194. That's a 7% upside. Expect things to come out at $200 now. It's just a phenomenal quarter. And then they announced a $60 billion buyback. This is on Tim Cook level of financial engineering the stock price because it's the third largest stock buyback announced by companies in 2025. Again, it was a great quarter. Gene Munster outlines it for you. A little nugget. He said China could be $50 billion in revenue this year if fully sold in and could grow 50% annually. If China grows a bit faster than the rest of the world, Jensen is implying the overall business will grow around 40 to 50% next year. Street is at 29%. That will push the stock price up. Okay? I do believe if we go and look at NVIDIA here, we'll just pull up NVIDIA. I do believe that AMD and other companies will outperform. Okay, we'll put in AMD and we'll put in AVGO. This is why you want Seeking Alpha, because you can do these types of comparisons. You can ask me to do them. I don't always want to do them, but here I'll put this in. Because 1 year, look at Broadcom, up 86%. AMD's up 11%. You bring this in a little bit, and AMD is outpacing NVIDIA over 1 year, and it's outpacing AVGO. You bring in 6 months, and again, AVGO is just pacing without. You bring it in a little bit more. And again, you can look at these things over 1 year, but you go to 3 years, and NVIDIA just blows them away. Now, again, it's a $4 trillion market cap. Broadcom, on the other hand, is a 1.2 trillion, something like that, 1.4 trillion. Okay, can they grow? Yes, great growth. Wall Street thinks that it's worth $302. It's at $300. It's going to get pushed up. I think that's a great long time buy. But again, risk reward, it might be better for you to have NVIDIA. Now, Wall Street thinks AMD is 184. That's a 10% upside. It's not all that it's just going to go to NVIDIA. You're going to have others. So I think the chip sector overall is probably a pretty good buy. Overnight, you're going to have earnings from Baba, okay? Chinese company. I'll tell you, I'm a little bit iffy about this one, but I like that 120 support right there. And it's been putting it up. Where does it come from? It comes from this pullback to March 2022. And then you see it popped all the way up here to 141. If we can sit in this 120 range, I think 140 to 150 is probably in the books. It is a super, super cheap stock. Now, am I buying this one? No, I don't want to buy something on a Friday of hopes over the weekend. But again, ironically, the Wall Street price target, 151. So you've got your opportunities out there. Even NVIDIA. This is absolutely insane. NVIDIA just reported record quarterly revenue. They're guiding up to $55 billion in revenue next quarter without any H20 shipments to China. Again, if China opens up, that's where they blow it away. Just imagine what will happen to this stock if China business even comes back half to life. Jensen's working on it. So it's a good bet. And what was shocking too was the 10K. Okay, this is a long kind of message out here. But the 10K showed there were three customers accounted for 23%, 19%, and 14%. There is one customer that accounted for almost a quarter of the accounts receivable for this company. Who's that? Is it Elon? Is it Meta? We don't know. But again, they are reliant on that spending. If that spending continues, which all likelihood it looks like it is, this stock should continue to soar. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit because I saw this from Anthony Pompliano. U.S. dollar has lost 30% of its purchasing power since 2020. A third of your savings has been destroyed in half a decade. It's been 5 years. The silent destruction of a generation. I want to talk to you about risk reward because I have some ideas about this. You don't want to put money and risk money that you need. Do not put your freaking rent money up for next month. Do not put your car payment for the next 12 months into the market and think, oh, it's a bull market, it should go up. No, you want to make sure that you're managing these things well. But if you have long-term money that you're banking on 4%, again, remember, over the last 5 years, the dollar has lost 30% of its value. And if you think this is crazy, I went to Perplexity and I said it. What does a weaker dollar mean for Americans who save their money in bank accounts as cash? Please factor in inflation, blah, blah, blah. You can read this answer. But a weaker dollar negatively impacts Americans who save money as cash in bank accounts. That's it. And do we have a weaker or stronger dollar now than in 2020? If someone saved cash since, are they considered poorer? And the conclusion, the dollar has weakened in purchasing power. Inflation has increased prices by nearly 25%. Savers who held cash without returns matching or exceeding inflation experienced a loss in real wealth. Did you make 25% in interest from 2020 when they were paying somewhere near 2 and 3%? It wasn't. You were making like 1% in some. Holding cash since 2020 generally means less purchasing power in 2025, making savers poorer in real terms. It shows the importance of at least earning inflation-beating returns on savings to prevent real wealth loss. Okay, that's a big deal. Because I went and I said, you know what, let's just look at the 5-year timeline of Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now, it doesn't mean you go out there. You lost 30% in cash, but Ethereum made you 1,000%. Bitcoin made you 879%. Again, a little bit of money could make up for that money that's in savings losing money. So I want you to think about that because I have some homework for you. Okay, some homework over the weekend. And it's serious homework. Find out where every ETF, okay, I have a watch list, my brokerage holdings. I go over it every single freaking day. And I know where the stocks and ETFs that I hold are on a chart. Okay? Are they at all-time highs? Throw some indicators up there. Maybe the MACD, maybe the RSI. Understand, you should have a charting program. That's it. The massive moves, have they made huge moves like Robinhood? which seems to be pulling back a little bit right now. Hasn't made massive moves. On a weekly chart, what does it look like? Look at the weekly chart of Robinhood. It'll tell you, hey, the MACD's crossing down. Maybe we need a little relief. The RSI is coming off of a 76. Because maybe you have an opportunity to lock in some profits like on CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is a perfect freaking example. Okay, up here, 4-hour algorithm said get out. I got out. I sold half my position at around 480. Did I top it? No. But I sold half my position that I bought here back in April. And I took profits. And thank God I did, because we're now down at $400 freaking dollars. The 4-hour algorithm is a perfect example of how this helps me, okay? It helped me manage this stock in particular. I developed this strategy for this purpose. Because while these two buys right here lost me money, look at the performance over the last 2 years in this stock. You made 209% versus buying and holding made you 194. It slightly beats it out. The winning percentage, 22 positions. Average win, 13%. That beats the average loss because it gets you out with small losses. And would I have bought either one of these? No, I didn't. The reason? I didn't have confirmation. So you use the charts to help you. So over the weekend, I want you to go and look at charts. One thing I mentioned on the Investing Experts podcast was expect volatility. Why? Well, let's just take a look at things. September has the worst month of the year in post-election years. The Dow Jones and S&P have declined in 10 of the last 18 Septembers. 10 of the last 18 Septembers. We can go and look up seasonality. Let's look at QQQ seasonality for the last 26 years. September, worst month of the year. The only other worst one is February. And the average return for the Qs is minus 2%. Expect volatility. Understand where you're at. Because we're going into September with a Fed rate cut priced in at 100%. What happens if he doesn't cut rates? What happens if jobs numbers come out fine and he says, I'm okay with that? What happens if the drama around removing the Fed governor, what happens if that gets to court and all of a sudden Trump has a tizzy because he's not allowed to remove that person? Expect tariff news. Again, I'm not trying to scare you. What I'm telling you is you need to understand where your stocks are at. Because here, VOO has an average annual return of 14.63% since its inception in September 2010. Understand your timelines, because VOO, am I selling out my VOO in September because it's got a bad historical average? This is the last 15 years. No, I'm not selling out in September. But if I've got a ton of gains from 2020 in VOO, maybe I'm taking a little off. Maybe I'm pulling in a little cash. Because if you look at VOO's chart and you go and look at a weekly chart, throw on some indicators. The MACD, incredibly high. The last time we were up here, you went from March 2024 all the way to December 2024. The stock price continued up, but the MACD stayed up there. The RSI is at 65. It's a little stretch. Could you take 5% and just take gains? Probably. Would you need to buy those 5% at a higher price when we finally have a better indicator and a time when it tells you to get in? Yeah. Maybe you're using the 4-hour algorithm. And the 4-hour algorithm got you in today at 592. You better have a long-term outlook on that one. Even though it beats buy and hold and wins 68% of the time, 19 positions over the last 24 months. Want to know why? Because we're in a bull market. So if you look at the last 2 years, and I'll put a little marker here on let's see, August, the last week in August, right there. That's 2 years. We're in a bull market. Now, does it mean we're going to go down? No. But again, your homework is just understanding where your stocks and ETFs are. That's it. It's a very simple thing. And you can use your own program. You can use TrendSpider. TrendSpider, sign up for the annual plan and you get the 4-hour algorithm. I will send it to you. And if you don't know what you're doing with charts and it's within your budget, I would say get the advanced plan. Why? Because you get 52 trainings per year. You literally get a one-on-one with a Zoom with a product expert. You don't know what a MACD is? They'll tell you what a MACD is. You don't know what an RSI is? They'll tell you what an RSI is. They won't give you financial advice, but they can help guide you through this program to help you set up strategies, watch lists, and everything for you so that you sit there with somebody and get organized, somebody who's a product expert. So again, don't miss this sale. You need to know where the stocks that you hold are. And if you have too many stocks and you can't look through them, that's a signal. Get more ETFs. We've got more ETFs in the stock market now than actual single stocks. Use them to your advantage. So if you have any questions, again, like I said at the beginning, go to Linktree, linktr.ee/dailystockpick, and all of the links are there, even my email address. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you Monday. For those paid subscribers on the newsletter, you will have the September watch list tomorrow or sometime this weekend. Okay, take care. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.